Our presentation is on lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender adoption. I'm just going to give you a little brief overview and history of what it is. Adoption of children by the LGBT people is an issue of active debate. In the U.S. alone, for example, legislation to stop the practice has been introduced in many jurisdictions. Such efforts have largely been defeated, with the exception of the Arkansas Act 1. There is an agreement between debating parties, however, that the welfare of the children alone should dictate policy. Supporters of LGBT adoption suggest that many children are in need of homes and claim that since parenting ability is unrelated to sexual orientation, the law should allow them to adopt children. Opponents, on the other hand, suggest that greater prevalence of depression, drug use, promiscuity, and suicide among homosexuals and alleged greater prevalence of domestic violence might affect children, or that the absence of the male and female role models could cause maladjustment. The existing body of research in this area does not consider adoption, however. It fails to distinguish between parenting of a gay person's biological children and the parent of adopted children who are unrelated to them. Nevertheless, numerous studies on the more general case of the LGBT parenting have been used to counter the claims of parenting ability, and while fewer studies exist on gay men and parenting, research suggests gay men may be similar in parenting to that of their heterosexual counterparts. Following these studies, a number of professional organizations have made statements in defense of adoption by same-sex couples. The American Psychological Association has supported adoption of same-sex couples, citing social prejudice as harming the psychological health of lesbians and gays, while noting that there is no evidence that their parenting causes harm. The American Medical Association has issued a similar position supporting same-sex adoption, stating that while there's little evidence against the practice, lack of formal recognition can cause health care disparities of children of same-sex persons.
Hey, did you guys vote on Amendment 27 today? I still haven't decided where I stand on gay adoption.
Well, personally, I believe that a child needs a male and a female role model in order to be successful in life.
Personally, I don't agree. Even most of the research to date comes to the same conclusion. The children of lesbian and gay parents grow up as successfully as those children of heterosexual parents. In fact, not one single study has determined that children raised by gay parents will be at any kind of disadvantage.
It can be too hard of a transition for some children, especially those who are older and have already formed preconceived notions about homosexuality. That can lead to low self-esteem, low grades, and suicidal ideations. According to some social workers, children placed in gay households believe the children will have a harder time adjusting than if he or she were placed in a heterosexual household. The child has already been through enough without being subjected to even more bullying.
Well, to tell you the truth, I do not agree with you because children are going to get teased for all sorts of reasons, whether it's their appearance, their skill at sports, what their parents look like. Any difference about a child or their family can be focused in teasing and even bullying by other children. Excluding gay people from the adoption process or from parenting is not going to shield children from this behavior.
Well, child welfare professionals around the country recognize that children's healthy development does not require having a mother and a father, as they make up a third of all adoptive placements with single parents. First of all, for children who are waiting to be adopted, the choice is not about a married couple or gay parents. There are enough adoptive parents to go around. Excluding gay people does not mean that more children will be replaced with married couples. It means that more children will be left without any family at all. And we all know how bad that is for kids.
I'd rather have a child in foster care than having them live with a gay couple. They suffer from a high incidence of suicide, disease, and instability.
That's an unlikely scenario, considering that in order to be foster parents, couples go through an intense home study and background checks to screen out individuals who have a history of mental illness or drug abuse or any other characteristic that would prevent them from providing a safe, nurturing, and stable home for the child.
Did you guys know that Florida has the only law in the nation that bans gays and lesbians from adopting children? I mean, they must have their reasons. What about all the talk I hear about molestation and pedophilia?
Yeah. I don't agree with what that talk about homosexuality and pedophilia. I mean, think about it. There's no connection between them. All of the legitimate scientific data shows that. Sexual orientation, whether it's heterosexual or homosexual, is an adult attraction to others. Pedophilia, on the other hand, is a sexual attraction to children. 90% of child abuse is committed by heterosexual men. In one study of 269 cases of child abuse, 2 offenders were gay or lesbian. Of the cases studied involving molestation of a boy by a man, 74% of the men were or had been in a heterosexual relationship with a relative of the boys. The study concluded that a child's risk on being molested by his or her relative's partner is over 100 times greater than by someone that might be identifiable as being gay.
Well, think about the impact on the children who have gay parents. They are at a higher risk of being turned gay.
I don't agree with that because being gay isn't a choice. You're born with it. It's biological.
Well, as of yet, there's still no proof that if being gay is biological or a choice.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the facts. Researchers estimate that the total number of children nationwide living with at least one gay parent ranges from 6 to 14 million. The vast majority of states no longer deny custody or visitation to a person based on sexual orientation. State agencies and courts now apply a best interest of the child standard to decide these cases. Under this approach, a person's sexual orientation cannot be the basis for ending or limiting parent-child relationships, unless it is demonstrated that it causes harm to a child. Using this standard, more than 22 states to date have allowed lesbians and gay men to adopt children either through state-run agencies or private adoption agencies. Florida's 1977 law is the only law in the nation that bans gays and lesbians from adopting children. Currently, 6 states around the country are considering or have recently considered bans on gay and lesbian foster care and adoption parents.